All right, so from yesterday, a vocab term that we spent, you could say some significant time on was what? The last one on your last page, adaptive radiation. So what is something that you can tell me about adaptive radiation that we discussed yesterday? In other words, animals we mentioned was a dimetrodon, was a gorgonopsid. What can you tell me about those two animals?
Their legs are right under.
That's half right.
Carnivores.
Okay, they're both carnivores. And one of the reasons for that is which one would have been an earlier carnivore, the gorgonopsid or the dimetrodon? Which one would have been an earlier carnivore, the gorgonopsid or the dimetrodon? Yes, the dimetrodon. Because in essence, what did we say that means? When you say dimetrodon, what does that mean to you? Has something to do with his teeth, that's correct.
2 points on his teeth.
Dimetrodon means two-toothed, that's right. Okay. Okay, so then what was significant about the gorgonopsid? Okay, that's what we tie back to adaptive radiation, leading to many modern carnivores, like bears, your large cats, okay, and animals of that nature, even that of alligators and crocodiles. But the difference between those is what you had said earlier, the legs were directly beneath them. We said that's half right. That's only true in the gorgonopsid. That's what we call a therapsid. Okay? So having legs directly underneath you, why would that be an advantage?
Makes you run faster.
Yeah, you're going to be much faster. Okay? Which can be an advantage for two reasons. One, you can catch faster prey. But maybe even more importantly is being able to outrun predators. Okay, so that could be an advantage for two reasons. Okay, therefore, moving on, a lot of these early examples that we talk about evolution was noticed by not only just Aristotle but also Darwin. We said we would get into Charles Darwin today. That content. Okay, so we got to get through this one, and then we start talking about Charles Darwin. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so moving on then. One of the things that you're going to want to make note of, and that is the animals that he's most known for, okay? And we could say that the importance of that is, here's number one, finches, okay? Then iguanas 2, and then tortoise 3. So you could say we're counting them down, 3, 2, and 1. He's mainly known for his observations when it comes to that of finches. And one of the reasons that that is significant is when you look at a bird's beak, okay, you can probably pretty well determine what it is that their diet is going to be. Even though when you look back at Jerry is right on top over the door as you walk in, okay? That long-eared owl, maybe, no, it might be a barn owl that is having what type of diet? What would you guess owls have? Are they herbivores or carnivores? Yeah. And one of the adaptations that owls do is they don't tear apart their flesh. Okay. Of course, mice are their main course. What about that of mice? What do they do with mice? Yeah, they eat them. I understand that. Does anyone know how they consume them?
They catch them with their claws.
True, they're going to do that, just like many birds of prey do, whether it's hawks, eagles, falcons, all of them will do that. You're not wrong. But it's how they consume. This is going to eat it and swallow it whole. Because one of the things that you could do is any scientific supply company, whether it's Ward's or Flynn Scientific, you can actually order owl pellets. Okay, so the pellet being the waste product that they produce, and what you could do is open that up and see once what their diet is. It's going to have the undigested materials that they would have within them. Okay, so the reason that we say that, well, we're not talking about owls. Well, you would be correct. But we are talking about finches, and those are in the same class as what owls are, and that is aves. Okay. But with that, can anyone visualize what the beak of a finch would look like? Is it sharp like that of an owl, a falcon, a hawk? No. No, it would be, I would say, you could maybe not long, but it's going to be wide because they are what we call seed eaters, okay? So what would happen is one of the aspects that Darwin would have discovered, well, not only that he would have discovered, but did and document that down, is that some species, even though they don't look the same, they're very much related. And what has to happen on these islands or in different portions of where animals can be found, they need to be able to adapt or die. And that adaptation could be because of different types of geographical separations, whether the most common time that would have taken place goes all the way back to your geography or world history when we talk about Pangea. And what does Pangea mean to you? Where there was one large continent. So then, for some reason, nature selected those continents to break apart. So what may have happened at one time, which I believe Antarctica at one time used to be near the equator, so it used to be a tropical climate for Antarctica. But then, of course, anything that was alive that would drift down to the South Pole then would be in a much colder climate. So that's what we mean by a type of geographical separation. So what we see happening here is also going to be a geographical separation, the topography. Does anyone know what topography means?
Something to do with land.
It does have something to do with land.
It's like, yeah.
Elevations, okay? So it's how elevations may change, okay? So when we look at these finches, they have wide beaks because they are seed eaters. Having a sharp one is not going to be an advantage. Having a wide beak like that of a cardinal or a finch would be no use to an animal that is a carnivore because it's not going to be able to do its assorted function. Okay. So this separation then, what Darwin had concluded is that these animals, they have to be related. Okay? Okay, does everyone have this content that wants it? Okay. No? Okay. We'll wrap this up here shortly. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about up on the board, I believe, would be, yes, this here, okay? Because tomorrow we will start talking about the observations, which are Darwin's theories, okay? So for those of us tuning in a little later, today's session will be in two parts. We're going to have August 21st, letter A, and then we'll also have zoology August 21st, B. Okay? It'll make sense. If you have any questions, just come in and talk to me about that, and then, because only letter A is going to be found on the science channel. Okay. We're still writing. So this is the end of letter A, and then I'll explain where letter B can be found in the drop folder.